So warmly welcome for this important safety training, OSHA 30 hours. It is like IBU-EHS USA accredited training, and the certification is globally acceptable. And the good news is because of this COVID-19, there is no expiry date. So it's a lifetime validity certification, you know.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, so so that means you'll pay only one time, and you already paid, mashallah. That's why you are in the training.
Yes.
And we will just try to finish in 3 days, and there would be a small exam at the end, and I'm pretty sure after this detailed training it wouldn't be a problem for you, inshallah.
Inshallah, my friend.
And you know, the whenever I start my training session, I always have few minutes for open discussion. So can you just introduce yourself, what you are doing, and you know, at this stage, do you have some safety experience, or is your new journey towards safety?
Actually, I've instructed in safety for 1 year
Okay,
for
mashallah.
Arabian Safety Training Center, my friend.
Mashallah, mashallah. So then the thing would be more easy, inshallah, because we are in the same profession. Excellent, mashallah.
Inshallah. And then, to be honest with you, I like the job, but I did not like the management of the company. So I had to leave. I
Okay,
had to leave.
no problem, no problem. It happens actually,
Yes.
because if your mind, soul, and your heart is not satisfied with the company, of course, you will leave maybe today, maybe tomorrow. So, of course,
Yes.
it's quite natural, you
My
know.
friend. Yeah.
So, Mr.
And
Muhammad, for this open discussion,
yes.
please just be open, be honest, and you know, just let's try to understand each other to make this training more fruitful, even though you are experienced and also have some experience.
Sure.
So let's try to
Sure, sir.
facilitate each other to learn from each other, inshallah. Okay.
Inshallah, I hope to learn. To be honest with you, I hope to refresh some
Okay,
of
so
the
whenever
information that I.
whenever you visit a doctor because
Yes,
of
sir.
any, God forbid, sickness or something like that, so what they normally do, have you ever analyzed?
Yeah, they look for disease symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
look for the symptoms. So, what are the symptoms for like
Okay.
stomach problem? Maybe they
Okay.
looking for pain. They looking for what I'm feeling and
Uh-huh.
when I have this pain.
Excellent. And then they diagnose through different laboratories, and you know, they have some test recommended one.
Yes,
And why they do all these things? Just to diagnose the real root cause of sickness, right?
yeah, to know what is the sickness actually, or what's the disease, so they can treat it.
And imagine, God forbid, if you visit a doctor and he's not diagnosing anything, you just told the symptoms and he prescribed the medicine. And this experiment, how terrible it could be, you know, might be sometimes beneficial as well, but mostly it would be
Actu-
dangerous, right?
yeah, it's dangerous. Actually, it happens, I think, with some people that they don't feel comfortable with other doctors, same like the other. I think
Absolutely right.
some doctors, I think some doctors care more.
So, Mr. Muhammad, same cases with the safety officers, you know, if they suggest a solution without proper root cause analysis, they'll be the terrible safety officers, to be very honest.
Yes, yeah,
And
like
if they take the problem and they have a detailed like root cause analysis, then of course they will prescribe the right medicine, they'll prescribe
true.
the right solutions, right, to the company. And
Yes,
that's what is the key role of the safety officer, to make sure, you know, because issues would always be there, like unsafe acts, unsafe conditions, or kind of you know, people would be breaking some safety rules and regulations, or some violations will be there. But the problem is
yeah,
how, or even some kind of incidents or accidents could also be happening. But the problem is how they are going to take some corrective preventive actions, but right after detailed root cause analysis. So
Yes.
before we go into further detail, what do you think, as per your experience, why accidents are still happening? What are the real root causes, in your opinion? I mean, I'm not
I think
talking about bookish knowledge, just genuinely your mind, like your experience and your kind of understanding, why accidents are still
uh,
happening. And on the other side, we have millions of safety officers, right? And
yes,
safety engineers, and we have engineers basically in every process in every department, but
yes.
still accidents are happening. So let's try to diagnose like a doctor,
Yes,
why
actually,
generally the accidents are happening.
when I left my friend Arabian safety, I went to work in the oil field.
Oh, okay.
I work in drilling, so I know what can cause an accident for real because I work with these people who makes accidents
Oh,
taking
okay.
shortcuts.
Shortcuts.
Yes,
Absolutely right. And
not following procedure.
excellent, excellent,
Yes,
excellent.
um, such
So,
as
to be very honest, Mr. Muhammad, out
mm,
of my 3,000 plus training sessions, you are the only one at the first, I mean, just you immediately mentioned shortcuts, and that is the
yeah,
number
because
one cause. I'm telling you, because 95% my trainees, they agreed with this word, that the shortcut is the number one cause, even though
yes,
it's a
my friend.
violation of safety rules and regulations, and it's a kind of unsafe act, or
Yes,
but of
but they
course,
still do it.
yeah, exactly. So
We yes, sir.
yeah, go
Tell
ahead
me.
please, go ahead please.
Because I think in our field, when we need pressure that we need to follow up to satisfy our uh, the company that is hiring us, that we need
Absolutely
to
right.
take shortcuts, and that when most of the mistakes and most of the fuck ups happens.
That
Excuse my
means to
language.
keep our boss happy, that is the
Yeah.
reason we take shortcuts. Ah, okay.
Yes.
Do you agree it's a human nature as well to do things as quick as
Yes,
possible?
of course. It's actually it's also it's a study that most of the mistakes it's a human error. It's
Absolutely
not
right.
machinery. Yeah, it's
Absolutely
not machinery error. It's human error, my friend, and
brilliant.
we deal with it. Yeah.
And this human error, imagine if you have 12-hour shift
If
and
I
one
have,
person,
excuse me.
12-hour shift is equal to 43,200 seconds every day.
Yes, yes.
And
Every
one
day.
moment,
That's
1 second mistake, especially at the oil
yes,
rig sites, of
yes,
course, the things could be out of control, right? And that's
yes.
why
Of
sometimes
course.
terrible disasters are happening because of this one moment human error.
Yes. And every day we hear accidents. Every
Absolutely.
day we hear accidents. Every day, my friend. Every day there is a near
Absolutely.
miss or an accident somewhere.
Absolutely right. So, what do you think? Can we ensure 100% safety? Like, do you agree with that, or you believe 100% safety still is a
Yes, sir. Safety is still an option in every industry, not just in the oil field. It's possible in every industry. It's depending how the management and the employee take it seriously. First the management and then the employee.
absolutely right. So, if management commitment is there, of course, employees would
Yes,
also be start committing. So there is a trickle down effect.
exactly.
If top leadership is playing a vital role as they are leading by example. So of course, there
Yes,
would be a positive trickle down
yes,
effect to in the minds of others, right? Excellent,
true, my
mashallah.
friend.
So, this question I always ask whenever I deliver safety sessions. So, out of my 3,000 plus training sessions, that was the whole story behind, this is what mostly, the people mentioned. And I always add, oh, these are the terrible reasons of accidents. And number one is shortcuts, which you already highlighted.
Shortcuts, my friend. I seen it.
And these shortcuts, sometime we have certain excuses. Oh, there is a customer pressure. Saudi Aramco need this job urgently. Oh, Sadara or Royal Commission or Saudi Electricity, they are behind us. There is a penalty clause. We have to make money because we have to finish this project. There are plenty of other projects. So we start thinking like a materialistic approach, is there. So in such a scenario, of course, you love to take shortcuts. And on the other side, as we agree, it's a human nature as well. And most
Yes,
importantly, human error always, certain pressures from the top management. And nobody, mostly they don't have stress management training. And on the other side,
yes,
tension or the stress is the biggest cancer in the world. So if a person is
yes.
mentally being
Pressure.
tortured every day or having some social issues or financial issues or some issues within the company as well, like people, the leadership is shouting on him and his feelings are being distracted every day, so of course he will try to do things as quick
Ma-
as possible just to keep their boss happy, and to keep
Yes, just
continue
to
their job.
miss.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And Mr. Muhammad, a lot of people, a lot of my trainees and students, they mentioned carelessness, ignorance, no attentiveness, poor knowledge, overconfidence. This
Yes,
overconfidence is also the foundation of shortcuts.
exactly.
Oh, I can do
Yeah,
it. I don't need full
but
body
I can
harness. Yeah,
exactly. Yes.
yeah, because I'm doing it. I don't need gloves actually because I'm doing for the last 10 years. But the last 10 years you were luckiest one, but now there is no guarantee that for next 1 year you will also be
Not true. Yeah,
lucky at the
yeah.
same
You were
time.
lucky. Yeah, you were lucky 100 times, but with the 101, I don't think
Exactly,
you're
no
gonna be
guarantee
lucky
at all,
anyway.
of course.
Yeah.
And many people mention these unsafe acts and unsafe conditions. So can you give some examples of unsafe acts, especially at the rig sites, what you
Unsafe
observed
act.
personally?
Unsafe acts, my friends. I've seen one guy going, holding actually a pen. We were
Okay.
trying to sledgehammer the mast together, and
Mm-hmm.
there are a big bends in the center of the mast, and
Mm-hmm.
we were trying to pin it in. So two guys, they were trying to put the bins, install the bins in. Actually, it's on height first. They were using a genie man lift.
Mm-hmm.
One guy held the bin with his hand, the other guy holding almost 18-pound sledgehammer
Ah,
to pin it
okay,
down.
okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the bin was almost like 4 or 5 pounds, my friend.
Ah, okay.
Boom, boom. The third one on the guy's holding between the smashed the guy hand.
Mhm.
Dude, there are tools for us in there. We
Absolutely right.
have a tool. Yes, we have a tool in there that we can use to hold the bin, and then one guy, actually, you can hold the bin with that tool far away, and then the other guy can sledgehammer. That's an
Absolutely.
unsafe act.
So there is a tool for everything, but unfortunately, sometimes we, because of our confidence, because of carelessness, because of our rushy
Yes,
behavior, we don't
yes,
use these tools, and we think it's a waste of time. Sometimes many people, might be ignoring the work permit even within Saudi Aramco. Sometimes
yes,
might be they're just ticking, oh, form is completed, but in fact they didn't stop on any item to see either the things are on a safer side or they just it's a just tick mark. Let me give you an example because I'm the auditor as well. So one of the company I was auditing, and I asked the forklift operator, can you show me some of your records related to your daily inspections of forklift, and just random, not in detail, but just I uh, verified few of the checklists, and I surprised none of the checklist having any issue. all the tick marks. That means everything is okay with the forklift. Then I asked the guy, can you show me your forklift? This number 009. And
Uh-huh.
then the moment we went there, safety belt was not buckling up. The backup sounds were not working. Tires quality was terribly poor. Even the overall body, of the forklift, including these forks as well. I mean, they were wobbling up, and it's a terrible condition of that forklift. But in the record, everything is okay. Then I asked
Yeah.
that guy, how come you can take, and there is no issue, for the last 3-4 months? And do you know what you are taking? You know what was the terrible reply? Sorry, I don't know English actually. Then why you are
Yes.
taking? That's what the safety officer told me to do it. You know what the safety
Yeah.
officer told me, just take and give me the copy every day, just to fulfill our record. And on the other side, the maintenance team, they also have internal maintenance team, and nobody bothers about it because the reports are talking, and that everything is okay.
But it's not okay.
But it's not okay. Actually, it's not okay. Same way, at the rig
Yeah.
side, there are crane operations going on. There is lifting, rigging, and lifting is going on. There are
Sure.
some manual handling activities. You have certain kind of confined space, different kind of projects in the confined spaces as well. And
Yeah.
that means everything required a proper risk assessment, or a kind of a JSA, or work permit system, overall work permit system to be followed. But unfortunately, if you ignore, or you are not ignoring, but documentally, physically you are
Mhm.
ignoring so many things, so of course, be ready for the accident, right?
Actually,
Uh,
that's called poor knowledge because unfortunately for us, yes, do you have also Arabic speaking people that they can go for a GSA and they just sign it and they don't know what's going on in the GSA. The GSA is
Absolutely,
written in English.
absolutely. Because this
Have
communication barrier is another problem. Yes, that's why
yes,
number
okay.
13 is poor communication. Yeah,
At least they can help the guy who's holding these people who speak in Arabic. He can speak in English and can deliver them at least a 10-minute briefing of that GSA, or at
absolutely,
least the job or the task that they are required to do so they can do it safely.
absolutely right,
That
absolutely.
5 to 10 minutes, my friend, trust me, it makes a difference.
Yeah,
Okay, it's
a
no
lot
problem
of
that I
difference.
don't know the language. Yeah, the problem is accepting that I don't have knowledge and I can do it. It's okay. For him, he don't know. He have no knowledge. But for the supervisor, that's carelessness, ignorance.
Absolutely, absolutely right. And he simply damn care who is going to be died or what is going to be happen.
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So that self-realization is also missing. The last point, the 20th one, the no self-realization. We think
Mm.
safety is not important. Oh, it's a waste of time. It's just, a killer for our production or productivity. So if we follow safety,
No.
it's a waste of time, a lot of delays, customer pressures will be more and more. So a lot of excuses we have. While on the other side, safety, quality, and credibility. You can never give any excuse actually, and you can't even accept any excuse. I mean,
We
how come you
have,
can compromise on safety, quality, and credibility, or on the other side, the goodwill of the company?
I mean, what's safety actually when we come speak about it? Like for me, safety for me is to finish my tour 28 days and come back to my family safe.
Excellent, excellent. That
Y-
means you should be the
Yes,
safety manager of your own area. You are the safety
exact,
manager of your own self.
exactly. Yeah, I need
Absolutely,
to come back after 28 days to my family, my friend.
absolutely,
Anyone who compromise that, actually, he don't care about me.
absolutely right. And I
Listen,
always ask, do you love yourself? Have you ever asked
yes,
yourself, am I love myself? Have you
yes,
asked this
I do.
question for the last 1 year even? and mostly I got the word no. I never thought that do I love myself? Okay, do you love your family? Everybody will raise the hand.
Yes,
Then why you are
then
violating? Why
yes,
you are having some unsafe acts or why you are accepting unsafe conditions? Why you are
exactly.
violating safety rules if you truly love your family or to yourself even? Excellent, Mr. Muhammad. Trust me, this training is truly remarkable, and I'm happy to have you today.
Th-
Not like
Thank
I'm
you.
not here like a trainer, but of course a facilitator to learn from each other, inshallah. So a lot of
Inshallah.
people mentioned, this defective tools and equipment and no use of PPs,
Yes,
effective tools and equipment. The ladder, one step is broken, but still I can use. There are certain cracks, but still I can use because it's hard to buy the new ladder. We are in the remote area, it required 200 kilometers travel. So need to buy the new ladder. Even in the stock, there is no backup. So use the same ladder,
yes,
use the same helmet, use the same hammer. So this kind
yes,
of, or the same grinder, or even sometimes the conditions of our heavy equipment is also terrible. And I'm
yes.
surprised sometime on the third party companies, especially the inspection companies. I mean, they are not just sticker changers. Just come and, change the sticker and say everything is okay.
That also happens a lot. We have sections lines. That one is like remote, like we can remove it. Uh, these lines, like they are adjustable. We use them mostly for cement,
Uh-huh.
and it's very high pressure lines, my friend.
No, that's pretty right.
Yes, we have one time actually one of these guys came and they did not do an inspection for it, and that put us in a lot of danger, my friend.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Yes, one of the lines actually pop off at like a 200, 2000 psi. Luckily, nobody's around it.
Oh, but every
Yeah.
time it's hard to be lucky, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
So a lot of people mention, no effective trainings. Trainings are there,
We
but
have training.
effectiveness is missing. And
We have
sometimes,
effective trainings.
yeah, but sometimes the most important part is uh, uh, the trainer might have some degrees, but no live experience or the project oriented experience practically. If that trainer is
Yes.
missing that kind of important crux of knowledge or practically experimental knowledge, on the different sites, of course
Yes.
he would not share a lot of scenarios, or like we are discussing, a lot of scenarios. I've been in the industry for the last 17 to 18 years, and I'm sure you
Yes.
also have done certain projects, and worked in several areas. And of course you can also give a lot of examples and scenarios, and this
Yes.
is another element which is missing. That's why sometimes the trainings are not effective. They are more like theoretical instead of practical. Like case
Yes.
studies are missing, or some kind of genuine practical scenarios are missing to share with the trainees.
Yes. That's
And
true, my friend.
sometime only tick mark again, sign this attendance sheet and consider training is done. How come you can do
Yes.
this? Like, if you hired 50 employees and they are on the site, and you as a safety officer is saying, okay, just sign this induction sheet, or just sign it and go to the project manager because he's behind me. So just go there, don't waste even your single second. So these 50
It,
guys, of course, would be in trouble, not for themselves, even for others, right?
yes.
Because they don't know where are the muster points, how many danger zones are there, what are the prohibited areas, where we can find H2S, how many sensors are there, where is the wind sog, and plenty of other things.
In case in case of fire,
Yeah, exactly. Where
firefighting.
exactly? Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And then a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
people mention, Mr. Muhammad, this excessive workload.
Yes.
Excessive workload. like you, but one of the reason I found, if you need 50 employees, let's take an example. The company management
Mm,
is saying you have to complete this job with 35 employees because we can't hire 15 more employees, even though they are required at the project, but they have certain excuses,
mhm.
and this is their cost
Yes,
reduction plan or money saving plan. And
yes,
there is another reason what I personally evaluated. I mean, the unfair distribution of task. Like you are a little bit like a humbled person and you accept jobs quite easily. You are a job lover
yes.
actually. So the company will give you maybe 50 tasks. But on the other side,
I
one gentleman, he have only 5 tasks. And there is a third person and he has no task at all. He's just wandering here and there and, wasting his time and finishing his 6 hours or 8 hours or 12 hours. So this unfair distribution of workflow, that's another terrible reason of excessive workload. And sometimes
yes.
the company can manage maybe one project and they are accepting at a time three more. And with the same workforce, they believe they can finish the line or the deadlines, of the projects. Actually, how come it could happen?
That's true, my friend, especially the unfair distribution of work.
Absolutely right. So sometimes one person is,
Doing,
he's screaming, I'm overloaded. Please listen to me. I can't work anymore. How come you can give me a lot of jobs, while I can only perform 5 jobs and you are giving me 10 jobs? But he's bound to do them. So this is how sometimes, and
yeah,
this terrible unfair distribution of workflow also create anxiety, stress, I would say even over stress, and we directly shoot up your blood pressure. And blood pressure, the key reason of or the key root cause of heart attack actually.
yes,
So
it happens.
yeah, so this is how sometimes we are killing people but silently and nobody knows, and everybody gonna say, oh, it's a natural death. No, it's not natural. It's not natural.
Uh,
Nobody can measure the pressure what he was facing in his brain.
actually 2 months ago or 3 months ago, one driver forced to go out from the rig site. I don't want to mention the rig name or
Yeah,
the
exactly.
company.
Okay.
Yeah, and he went out. He stopped because he felt he's not okay. He actually, when he stopped, he had a heart attack and he died
Oh,
because he did not want to go outside in the nighttime because that's not his job. But he was forced by management.
okay.
Yes, that actually happened for real, my friend, 3 months ago.
Oh. So on the other side, Mr. Muhammad, what our Islam says, saving one life, saving the whole humanity, and killing one person, killing the whole humanity. So that's mean it's ibadah. If you follow safety rules, if you implement safety rules, if you are a safety leader even, so consider it's not a money making profession. It's kind of an ethical job, like a ibadah, which I mean, all the professions are not only for money making. Money is an automatic process, like if you are doing your job honestly, don't you think Allah is Razik and, the money will be yours, whatever belong to you actually, as per your hard work or as per the written theories by Allah. So your risk will always be there. But the point is, are you doing your job honestly? And now the general phenomena in the companies, people are more relevant, they link money in everything, especially in safety profession even. Like if I get Nibosh IDIP or train the trainers from IADC or train the trainer from OSHA or some others, my first foundational goal is how much money I'll make after these certifications.
Mm,
But I don't think that this is one of the noblest job I'm going to serve the people in the market. I would be the reason to train them, to motivate them, to engage them towards safety culture. So that's
It
another
should,
phenomenon what I personally noticing in the market, that people are more like they are more like, I would say, the materialism is there. And sometimes I say the new religion is invented, gain money and power by any means. Can be unfair means even.
yes,
So this phenomena, especially in safety profession, actually shouldn't be there.
it shouldn't.
Shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there. We should, everyone who take these courses or be in these courses, educate himself to make sure that his colleagues go out also by the end of the tour or the end of the day safe with him.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And now, the many people mention this poor communication. Like in one of the projects, I noted 52 different nationalities are working together. Sorry, 22 different nationalities working together.
Yes,
Now, if you have more Pakistanis or more Indians or more Filipinos, and
yes,
they can't understand Arabic, and you just publish everything in Arabic, or
and
they can't understand English and you circulated everything in English, so the message is not conveyed. You are saying something else, they are understanding something entirely different. So this
true.
and sometimes you didn't convey the message correctly. The customer said something different, you delivered that message in a different way, and the person who was the receiver entirely got this message in a very shredded manner, actually, because he was not focused.
That can lead to too many things, my friend.
Absolutely
Poor
right. That's why,
communications are there.
yeah, that's why now I noted a lot of companies, they started different languages now. Like if there are more Pakistanis, even Urdu language is being used. If there are more
Yes.
Kerala, the Indians, so they are using even their language. I mean, even for Filipinos, same way for Saudis.
Yes, that should imply actually every company that held more than one nationalities, it should have the ability to translate some of the
Absolutely.
translate some of the documents, be able to have actually a communicator between these different languages so they can communicate with each other to
Absolutely.
make themselves safe and run like their company.
Absolutely. So a lot of people mention not following the safety rules and regulations. And if you study Saudi Aramco theories, they mention this
Yes,
is the number one cause of accidents and incidents within oil and gas industry, like not following the safety rules and regulations. Even it's belong to everywhere, like wherever you are ignoring safety rules, you can say it's a unsafe act even. And if you're violating safety rules, of course, it's a
yes,
legal violation as well. And
yes,
this number 15 basically added this point by myself, the poor leadership. And mostly leadership, they love to use push policy instead of pull policy. Why I added poor leadership? If my people love to take shortcuts, or they are careless, or they are having, or they are not attentive, or having poor knowledge, or they are overconfident, or there are plenty of unsafe acts and conditions. So first of all, as a leader of the company, I'm responsible, because I'm not the mind changer. I couldn't bring a positive change within the culture of the company. I'm not a change agent to make sure that people are following safety rules and regulations. And might be as a leader, I'm not leading by example. I'm not a role model actually. So then trickle down effect wouldn't be there, of course, right? So that's why,
yes,
first of all, the leadership should be able and open heart to be accepting. Oh, everything bad is happening within my company. First of all, my leadership failure. Then I'll blame to someone else. If a general manager is always blaming, oh, Any violation, safety is responsible. Something happening in excavation process, safety is responsible. But where was the site supervisor, the foreman, the person himself,
Yes,
why he was
exactly.
unable to, why he was unable to
Everyone.
ensure safety within his own area, That's why we implement the slogan, be the safety manager of your own area. If you don't want
Ye-
to see me to watch you every day and telling you, "Oh, where is your helmet, where are your gloves, why you're not following safety rules and regulations, then be the safety manager of your own area. If you don't want anyone to come and guide you and advise you or instruct you at some level, then be more responsible, and then nobody would come to, you know and to be very honest, Mr. Muhammad, uh, you know since I'm the auditor as well, so in one of the audit I asked the general manager, you signed safety policy, honestly,
Yes.
have you ever studied even for a single time what is written inside the safety policy? And the answer was no. Then why you signed it? Then why
Just
you?
to make the
Because
job done.
policy is a commitment, is a promise, is a kind of a document, legal document you are sharing publicly and to your all stakeholders, especially to your customers even. Oh, this is our safety policy. But have you ever studied even for a single minute? And trust me, the answer was no. And I shocked. How come you can? Then don't blame that there is no safety culture or there is nobody is respecting safety rules and regulations. First of all, you are not committed because you don't have time even to study safety policy.
Yes.
Because in the safety policy, you are committing, oh, we will follow all legal laws. We will ensure the safety of all our stakeholders, especially to our internal employees. You commit that you will not be violating any legal standards. You committed you will not damage to the environment even. You committed compared to our previous years or the last year, we will reduce 50% our incident and accident, or we'll ensure 0% accident overall. You are committing in your policy and you didn't study even for a single time, then no right to blame anyone else, right? That's why
Yes.
this
He.
poor leadership. And what is push policy? That we are always punching people, or do this, otherwise 500 real fine. Do this, otherwise 1000 real fine. Okay, that's fine. It works. It works. But still, it's a push policy. Like you are on the side, they'll be following safety. You are back in your office. They damn care about safety. This is the terrible part or the other side of the push policy. But what is pull policy, which required less efforts, even maybe one-to-one counseling, and you just convince that guy, look, your safety, your responsibility, your family is more, you are important for your family first of all. If you truly, you know like to keep your family happy, even first of all ensure your safety, and don't expect
True,
that
man.
someone else will come to keep you safe. First of all, safety starts from you. Now what is happening? You convinced him, you motivated him, you gave him a wake up call, and now he realized, and he mentioned, sir, look, from now to onward, you will not see even a single safety violation, especially within my area, because I accepted now the ownership that my area, my responsibility, my area safety, my responsibility first of all. Even my safety, first of all, my responsibility. So this type of self-commitment even will make your life easy, your job easy, right? Instead of every day you are wasting and punishing and pushing people. No doubt it also works, because 100% is hard to make your people satisfied. Always 5 to 10% negative minds will be there. So to tackle these negative minds and still to keep them within your company, of course you will use some this kind of punishing system as well.
True.
So a lot of people mention no value to work permit. No value to work permit. Like I told you, oh, well, it's a small job. Why do we need a work permit? Oh, it's just 10 minutes job. Oh, Ramco guy is my friend. I will get signed later on. Let's finish the job first. Oh, nobody is watching us. We are in the remote area. No need to follow work permit because oh, we don't have time for work permit. If you think you
Always
don't have time or safety is expensive, then try and have an accident and see the result.
plenty of time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, my friend.
And a lot of my trainees, they mention no joint site inspection, but documentally is there. Physically, no joint site inspection. Joint site inspection means customer and the supplier
Yes,
representatives both have to visit and see. In advance, they have to identify all the hazards and risks through joint site inspection. But mostly it's not happening. But documentally, yes, it's there.
but it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of issues with the joint site inspection, and because I'm the WPR trainer as well, work permit receiver and rigor level 1, 2, 3. So a lot of Aramco guys, whenever I ask them, do you physically conduct joint site inspection? Mostly the answer was no.
Yes, that's actually true.
Then a lot of trainees mention no value to safety system. Oh, safety system is just a waste of time. We don't need this. It's just for the bidding purpose, just to show to our customers that look, we have safety manual, we have safety policies, we have a lot of procedures. See, the warning signs are there. See, the barrier tape is there. But in fact, genuinely, no value to safety system, just for bidding purpose to get the project. Then poor preparation is another element which can you give any example at the oil rig side? Have you ever seen this kind of issue like poor preparation before starting of any project or activity or even a process?
Actually, there are no poor preparation from our side, from the company side. Maybe only one thing. No, hold on. There's always one thing there.
Uh-huh.
But when I'm talking about safety, we always have these tools. Actually, our company spends a lot of money on like safety tools
Mhm.
and preparation. Uh, but when I'm talking about poor preparation, let's talk about rig move, my friend.
Yeah. Mhm.
There are some poor preparations in there within
Yeah,
our company, which leave the people for like sometimes some people, some employees, they don't have water or food to eat, my friend,
absolutely.
and that puts them under stress. And when you put someone under stress when they performing a job, or at least under a heat, leaving
Absolutely.
them without water or without food,
Oh my God.
that in the
Then they
middle
are
of the
in
desert,
trouble. They are really in trouble.
yeah, yes, that can happen sometimes.
Absolutely. So poor preparation because of any reason from company side or from
Yes,
employee side, but poor preparation is another terrible reason of accidents. And the last, not the least, mostly trainees mention no self-realization. My safety is not my responsibility. Safety is the responsibility of safety officer. Only safety department is responsible for safety. I mean, how come somebody can watch you 12 hours and can keep you safe? Hello, are you with me now?
Yes, hi.
Okay, welcome back. We have Mr. Muzammil. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. How about you, mashallah? So warmly welcome for this important session, OSHA 30 hours General Industry. So Mr.
Yeah.
Muzammil, would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Muzammil. I'm working in Zaf International Limited Company as a service engineer and service manager.
Okay, excellent, mashallah. And total number of years experience you have?
I have total 7 years of experience.
Mashallah, mashallah. So out of this 7 years experience, what do you think? What is the number one cause of accidents or incidents as per your understanding? Why accidents are still happening?
Where in the rig side?
No, anywhere, generally. I mean, as per your understanding, or because
Generally, because as you mentioned before, there are policies, there are rules, but mostly people they don't follow.
okay,
So the main cause is there are rules and if you don't implement, it will cause
absolutely right.
uh, accidents and hazards will happen.
So not following safety
Theoretically,
rules.
there are a lot of things, but practically, mostly they don't follow.
Absolutely, totally agree. Now, Mr. Muhammad or Mr. Muzammil, what do you think? What are the solutions actually? Because no training would be beneficial if these all issues are there, like shortcuts, carelessness, ignorance, no attentiveness. If all these
Uh,
issues
uh,
are within your
you
training,
already started the session just now, or you started before?
no, it's already we started at 8 o'clock actually.
Okay, because there is one more attendee. He will also join. Still, he didn't join from
No,
our
he
company.
did. No, he didn't join yet.
Yeah. Okay, I will send him personal message. Okay, you can continue.
No problem. But we will again wrap up. That's not a problem because until now we are under open discussion. Because, like a doctor,
Yeah. Okay.
we first of all need to diagnose why accidents are still happening and what are the real root causes. So, out of my 3,000 plus training sessions, what words I got from the trainings I already mentioned in the presentation. So within this slide,
Yeah.
the top 20 root causes are listed. And one, you also mentioned the poor implementation or no implementation. Like you have safety policies, you have procedures, you have certain kind of forms, but practically they are not well implemented. So of course,
Yeah.
things would be out of control. And since
And
at
also
this,
in the top management, if the
yeah,
top management is not serious,
exactly.
that is also a major cost.
You're absolutely right. If they are not committed or there is no safety budget or any budget for safety system to be followed, of course, things again a lot of unsafe acts we can observe, and maybe unsafe conditions as well.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? What is the solution? How can we avoid from accidents or incidents? What should we do actually?
The first of all, the safety starts from yourself. First,
Absolutely
take
right.
care of the safety of yourself and then your surrounding. I think you can play an important role.
Absolutely right. Okay, so it all starts from you. Yes, Mr. Muhammad, what is
As
your take on it?
yeah, I think also I agree with the guy, but I also need the management to enforce what I believe is safe for me and the others and
Okay.
provide for me.
Mhm. And can we achieve 100% safety?
It can be achieved through teamwork.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Muzammil.
Yes, we can try. We can achieve. Everything is
We can
possible.
try. Everything is possible, so we can try. We even though it looks impossible, but still we need to pretend and to keep in our brain that yes, we can try and it's possible for 100%. And then if you believe that 100% safety is possible, it's a positive vibe. So at least maybe 97% or 98% or 99% you'll achieve, and still it's a great achievement, right? But if you are pretending or you are accepting, oh, 100% safety is not possible, that means it's a negative vibe or negative energy. So of course the result would be on the other side. Again, the terrible outcome would be there because it's all depends on your input.
Yeah, agree.
So have you ever heard the word hazard? As per your understanding, how would you elaborate what is hazard?
Anything that has potential to do harm.
Excellent, mashallah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Muhammad, do you have anything else in your mind? What is hazard?
Hazard, something that will hurt me. Something that it will hurt me or people around me.
Mhm.
That's a hazard.
So, like Mr. Muzammil mentioned, a hazard is a potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or persons. So, a hazard can damage sometimes the four pillars, like it can damage to our environment, it can damage to our business, even the assets of the company, and of course, the people. So, these four pillars, a hazard can destroy sometime. That is why we truly need to create one ability within ourselves as a safety professional, how to identify hazards, what types of hazards are there, how we can identify them. We'll discuss later on through some practical examples. Even though it's an online training, but still I have some way how we can learn from each other through some pictures and all that. Now, what is risk then?
It's a behavior that might have the potential to cause harm.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Muzammil, do you have something to say?
Yeah, it's combination of consequence and likelihood.
Okay. So to calculate the chance. So, okay. So we can measure the uncertainty through this slide. So there is a formula like R is equal to likelihood multiply consequences. So we will discuss this one also in detail
Consequence.
later on. Now, what is safety then? The meaning I'm talking about.
Going
Safety
back home,
protection. Yeah.
Okay.
going back home safe.
So protection
Protection
from
of
what?
you.
Like protection
Others.
from hazards or protection from risk or protection from injuries or accidents or
So the risk is anywhere and anytime can happen, but the your preparation to counter that risk.
So safety is the condition to be being protected from unlikely to cause danger, risk or injury. So it's a freedom from risk actually. It's not like all the time you will be in tension or anytime something can happen. There must be kind of a safety system which will giving you a satisfaction. Yes, you have certain tools well implemented and there are less chances of accident. Even though risk 100% is hard to eliminate, but Of course, through some systematic tools, we can guarantee at some level, oh, now we have a well preventive system, instead of a reactive approach, we implemented proactive approach. Now, this fall is the #1 cause of fatalities globally still. So what do you think, what kind of walking and working surfaces hazards can be there? Walking and working surface hazards.
Fall of objects. Yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
Walking, tripping, for sure.
Mhm.
Slip, trip, fall, and
Okay.
working could be different. Working at height, working at any loading object.
Absolutely right. Like sidewalks are there, rooftops are there, ladders
Yeah.
are there, stairways we have. We have different ramps, walks are there. Even stages, different stages are there to work in.
Yeah.
A lot of parking lots where I noted people, because now we started using underground and overhead and, different kind of parking lots are there. Even scaffolding is also working at height. It can also
Yeah.
create certain. Then even this slips and fall, I noted wherever we have these tiles and, the slippery places, especially in bathrooms even,
Yeah.
because it's a wet condition. So in the bathrooms,
Yeah.
mostly fall hazards are happening, or even in swimming pools,
Yeah.
And a lot of other examples, what I can give you is, this other working platforms, like if you are using man lift or, or loading docks, or even some of the elevators I noted, which we use normally to complete our working at high jobs. So all these hazards, to be very honest, must have a proper fall protection system as per OSHA standards, regulations, or even as per local Saudi regulations. A lot of standards are there, or even as per Saudi Aramco. Whatever standard you benchmark, must make sure you follow them and you implement them in true spirit. Now, what is confined space? Do you have any idea what is confined space?
Yeah, it's actually a closed area.
Okay.
We, we need special entry. We cannot just enter it directly. There could be any gas or
Absolutely right. Okay.
there could be any hazard.
So means a space with limited entry, right? Or a
Yeah.
place which is not designed for human occupancy, or have less ventilation, or maybe lack of oxygen is there, some sort of H2S could be available. Other toxic gases can also be, and even hard to enter, and a place we can't enter without a proper work permit or without entry permit, right? So we will discuss confined spaces a lot, because in oil and gas industry, in construction, in mining industry, mostly the confined spaces are there, especially in oil and gas even. So can we just uh, discuss about scaffolding hazards? Because this is the #1, I would say the accident area, especially in Saudi Aramco. That's why they're looking for a lot of qualified scaffolding inspectors and supervisors, even scaffolders. So what do you think? What kind of hazards would be there?
Falling,
Okay, #1, fall.
scaffolding failure.
Yeah, the collapse can be there, the overall collapse. Like if the scaffolding erection is not done as per the standards, or the material quality is not good, or because of bad weather or high wind speed more than 65 km/h, or maybe the surface is not level, so the collapse can happen. And maybe electrocution as well. If you are working near overhead power lines or underground power lines, of course, that's another way around. Or are struck by falling materials. So we'll
Yes,
discuss
no problem.
separately for scaffolding. Now, what is exit routes? I mean,
That's
at the
the
at
route.
the rig site, Mr. Muhammad, how many assembly point or muster points you have at the rig site?
Two,
Two.
two. Yeah.
Okay. So how do you define the exit routes? Like if I'm working in a generator area, or near BOP or somewhere, you know,
Yes.
uh, doing some excavation in another area, and there are two muster points. How you will define exit routes for me actually? Or there is no need, from whichever area you find the way, just run and go to the muster point.
No. Actually, it depends on the emergency.
Uh-huh.
You choose the master points, and it depends on the situation you are in, and which is the best actually exit routes for you.
Okay. So what is more important is make sure these exit routes are unobstructed, right? Not blocked
Yes,
with anything.
it
And
should be.
also the width of the exit route is good enough so people can easily walk through. Should we run while we are going to the muster point? Should we run or we should walk fastly? What do you suggest?
It's funny because I think sometimes you should run.
Yeah, naturally, right?
But actually,
It's a
running
human
is not
nature.
allowed. In Aramco, it's not allowed.
Aramco is not
Yeah,
allowed.
Aramco.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aramco is not allowed it, but I think when there is an
And
I've seen
Aramco,
it.
Mr. Muzammil, Aramco mostly they respect
Yeah.
OSHA standards, because there is a
Yeah.
strong alliance with American standards. So normally in Saudi Arabia, everywhere, mostly we will see American standards more being respected.
Yeah.
Yeah, uh, for any situation in Aramco, you shouldn't be running.
But
Okay.
you have to walk fast, not like a slowly, slowly. But actually, what I have noticed, because I am been working for 7 years in the rig site.
Mashallah. Excellent.
So what I observed that whenever there is actually gas release, nobody even fall. There is, Mr. Muhammad also knows there is H2S drill every other week.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
but in actual case, when there is gas, you will see these foremen, everyone running. So it's a
Yes.
different scenario. How they make the drill, and in actual, it's totally different because everybody cares about his life. So everybody is going far away as he can.
But sometimes it's really hard to run from your death, because things
Yeah.
could be out of control if you are in rush and you don't know the wind direction, or you missed, how much the volume of H2S is there, and accordingly you
Yeah.
need to react either upwind or crosswind. So of course,
Yeah.
you need to control on your nerves actually. If you are nervous or you are upset or you got panic, then even the easy condition would be more terrible for such kind of mind. So any particular hazard do you think about trains? There are, if we talk about specifically that, because these are the things mostly we are using.
You're waking up, sir.
Crane the base.
Yeah. Okay. What kind of hazards are there?
This the moving object in front of the crane mostly if it's not tied up when they're
Okay.
moving.
So
This is
falling
one hazard.
objects because of not tied up, there can be
And
mechanical
also there should be
failure.
a rigger.
And if
You also
rigger
need a
is not
rigger in front
available,
of them.
yeah, rigger is not available, or the crane operator is not certified, or the surface is not leveled, or outer rigger are not properly established, you know.
Also the load,
Yeah,
they also put some load to balance it.
yeah. To
That
create a
load is
center
not
of gravity.
appropriate. It also creates problem. Yeah.
Brilliant, Marshall.
Then mostly I think the good one is the level of the ground.
Absolutely.
It's not properly level. That is I think the biggest hazard.
You're absolutely right. And then that is why tipping over or toppling over incidents are still happening, you know, because the balance or sometimes the edges, you know, nearby, like you have excavated area or deep down areas there. On the other side, you are using your crane and you misunderstood or miscalculated the weight of the mud or the soil, you know, or the type of the soil where you are placing your crane, because certain types of soils are there, which we're going to discuss later on, inshallah. So the soil quality and the strength of the soil is also important to decide where you are going to park your crane actually. Now, any hazards related to PPs, personal protective equipment?
Too many, my friend.
Two. Let's discuss some examples.
Hard hats.
Yeah.
Safety shoes. They're all important. Different type of gloves.
So that means
That's
any
appropriate for the task
PPs,
itself.
not wearing PPs is a hazard, right? If you are not using PPs,
like Polaris, you use Polaris harness. If you don't wear, these are hazards.
And if you are not aware how to wear full body harness or Polaris, of course, is another hazard, right? Imagine if your helmet is there, but it's cracked, but it's painted. Or imagine if internal, you know, this helmet harness, internal, that's not working properly, or there is no harness. And if you are working at height, there is no chin strap. Imagine you are using vibrating tools, but on the other side, fabric gloves are issued by safety department. So inappropriate or unsuitable PPs, use of unsuitable PPs is another hazard. Imagine if your PPs are not approved, you know, like CE mark is not there, or that's why we mostly buy from 3M, you know. Why this brand is more valuable? Because they have NIOSH approved. Like, let's take an example of, you know, this mask against COVID-19. I mean, different masks as per the capability and, you know, the as per the requirement. Actually, suitability is also important. If the PPs are not suitable to the need, of course, is a hazard. And on the other side, if you have a helmet but you are not wearing it, you have a full body harness but you are not wearing it.
No, you have the full body harness, you have the liner, but you don't hook yourself.
You don't exactly. You don't hook it properly. Absolutely right. So a lot of hazards we can discuss about PPs. Have you ever heard the word HAZCOM?
Yeah.
We call it hazards communication.
We use it for hazard communication. The sign hazard communication for chemicals and.
Excellent, Marshall. Excellent.
There are signs, different signs.
Yeah.
About properties of chemicals. They have mentioned their signs.
So, but these HAZCOM standards must be followed from manufacturer and to the end user, even to the storage, warehousing, wherever we are keeping these hazardous materials or kind of chemicals, there must be proper labeling, signage, you know, area need to be barricaded.
Yeah.
If we have chemical storage area, the doors, the windows, the paint even should be fire resistable. So it's a complete system package only to tackle the chemicals. That is why in Saudi Aramco, especially, you have CHB, chemical hazard bulletin, against every chemical, including H2S. Otherwise, we have SDC like safety data sheet or MSCS, materials. So in Saudi Aramco, we have CHB like chemical hazard bulletin. On the other side, we have MSCS, material safety data sheet, or SDS, safety data sheet, or also TDS like technical data sheet. So more we study about chemicals, we can be more perfect to control and use and manage and avoid any kind of mishappenings or accidents related to chemicals. That's why we need HAZCOM procedures and processes to be followed. So let's talk about this minimum and maximum level of oxygen. What do you think? If you have a confined space, what should be the minimum and maximum level of oxygen in a confined space?
19.5 is the standard for minimum.
Yes.
Okay, excellent, mashallah. So 19.5 as per OSHA. But if we talk about Saudi Aramco, it's 20%, okay? Minimum.
Yeah, now 20.
So if we talk about OSHA again, so the maximum level is 23.5%. And as per Saudi Aramco, again, maximum is 23.5%. And of course, we need a gas tester, authorized gas tester, who will be telling us, or we must have some, testing equipment with us if we are authorized to use. Okay, H2S, PEL. PEL means permissible exposure limit. So in a confined space, especially, or any area where you have H2S, what is the permissible exposure limit? Where you can work and how many hours you can work?
0.
I think 10 ppm for 8 hours with the, I think 10 ppm with 8 hours.
Okay.
It should be 0.
It should be 0.
And you have to use Saba. Yeah. Using Saba.
Okay. Supplied air breathing apparatus or SCABA,
Yeah.
self-contained breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
Excellent. So
using that one, I think we can work 8 hours.
Yeah. 8 hours, but trust me, as a safety trainer, I don't recommend 8 hours for all. Like if a person
No, we're using Saba.
Yeah, that's good. Using Saba is okay then.
But by Aramco standards, we shouldn't be exposed to H2S at all.
Yeah, might be it's a starting point. You think it's a 2 ppm, but that was the starting point, and later on it's immediately accelerated, So that's why they don't take any risk. And they try to eliminate. And also, if there is a hot work above than 0% LEL, you can't perform any hot work. You need H2S and LEL and all these things, 0%.
But for H2S, they work because sometimes in the water there is H2S.
Yeah.
So they cannot stop the operation.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's why they use Saba there. In all the areas there is connection available. So with safety, you can work.
Yeah.
Without Saba, you are not allowed. Totally. Agreed with Mr. Muhammad.
Yeah. Now, carbon monoxide. What is permissible exposure limit of carbon monoxide in a confined space?
5 ppm.
Okay. Go ahead. Yes, Mr. Muhammad. Carbon monoxide.
I forgot, my friend.
35 and 70 is the alarm setting, but I think in confined, I don't know. Same applies or
Mhm.
normally alarm setting in Aramco is 35 ppm low and
Yeah,
70 is the high.
but now actually, we just need to remember it's 35 below 35 ppm for 8 hours is TWA, time weight average. Okay, but 35 to onward, of course, we need Saba Skaba as per the requirement, but above than 1000 ppm is not allowed to work at all. And that means no entry on the other side. Excellent, Marshall. So LEL, percentage of PL, permissible exposure, lower explosive limit. What is PL, permissible exposure limit of LEL?
No, I think 5%. Huh? 5.
Mhm. So 4 things we need to remember for LEL. Number 1, no hot work above than 0% LEL. No hot work, especially in a confined space. Okay. Now, below 5% LEL, only cold work is allowed. Below 5%. And 5 to 10%
Below
LEL. Yeah, 5 to 10% LEL, again cold work, but we need STABA, we need SABA, we need proper approvals from our client, okay? And at
cold
level
work
of,
less than 5%. Huh?
yeah, so less than 5%. So on the other side, 10% or above, again, no exposure, no entry, especially in a confined space. Mr. Omer, welcome for this important session. So would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sir, I am Umair. I am working in Zaf International last 1 year, and total experience of my 10 years.
MashaAllah. Excellent. Okay, so until now, we just covered few of the topic, especially there was an open-ended question like what is the number one cause of accidents and incidents still happening in the market. So what do you think, as per your 10 years experience, what do you think why accidents are still happening?
Accident. Maybe something is wrong in the roadside.
Okay.
Anything is happening.
Mhm. Okay. Like Mr. Muhammad mentioned, the shortcut is the number one reason. Mr. Muzammil mentioned, not following safety rules and regulations, or you have certain policies and procedures, but you didn't implement them properly. So no implementation or poor implementation of safety policies and procedures is another reason of accidents. Okay, so now we are talking about different kind of questions are there, which we just to clear our concepts. Then of course it will help us to achieve our learning goals, inshallah. So anybody knows what is maximum inner temperature of our body? Have you ever evaluated the optimum temperature of our body or the maximum inner temperature of our body?
40, 39.
Okay, so please remember 37 degree. Okay,
73.
70
Oh,
37
my
sorry,
God.
37 degree. Or on the
87
other
degree
side,
Fahrenheit.
yeah, no degree, centigrade, and then 98.6 Fahrenheit. Okay, 98.6 for an. No, this is just an example. Consider if your company's accident graph is going up and up, God forbid, every year. Do you think you can still survive in the market? If your accident graph going up and up, like in 2015 or 16 or 17 or 18 or 19, continuously the accidents are going up.
No,
Can
we
you
will have a
survive?
bad image. The reputation will be low.
Absolutely right. And your goodwill gone mean it's all finished. Like take an example of Bin Laden, one Makkah incident. And till today, they are crying for business. And even if they have a project, the Saudi government is directly controlling them. It's not easy for them to survive now. Sometimes one terrible accident or incident can destroy the overall goodwill of the company. And now, because of social media, even within 4 minutes, the whole world can see and any terrible picture of your company, and it's all over. I mean, recently this Ronaldo, or what was the name of that gentleman, the footballer, he just denied to drink this Coca-Cola, and billions of dollar losses there because the goodwill is damaged. I don't know either the story is true or just because a lot of information are circulating on social media, but we can't trust blindly 100%. But if it is true, then see just one action from a celebrity and see the result. So goodwill matters a lot. That's why I mentioned, any global brand who is like most successful, they don't compromise on three things. That is called safety, quality, and credibility. They don't compromise with this triangle, because they know it value them a lot. They can't ignore safety, quality, and credibility, and they have open budget for all three words just to be alive and successful in the market. And if that graph, accident graph, is going down, like in 2019, you were having, God forbid, 5 accidents, and 2020, there was 1 accident. So you are continuously improving, and 2021, 0 accident. So 0 accident club, and you are publishing positive stories about your company everywhere. See, the goodwill graph will go up, and automatically a time will come. No need to go for bidding. The customer will be searching you that you are a responsible company, and they would love to give their projects to you, to your company, because they believe, oh, 0 accident is a good strategy. That means you have a strong system in place, or you have competent people or competent employees, or a good pool of engineers. Hello?
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Saeed. Welcome.
Yeah, hello, hi. Sorry, I've been doing stuff and I just finished work. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Welcome for this important session. So, Mr. Saeed, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello, hi. My name is Said Al-Harbi and I'm a freelancer writer.
Okay. MashaAllah. And how long you have been working? Your total number of years experience?
6 years.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. So, Mr. Saeed, we asked to everyone that why accidents are still happening. As per your understanding, why accidents are still happening? What is the number one cause as per your understanding? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why accidents happening?
why accidents are still happening, like we have millions of safety officers, engineers, talented, competent professionals, and still accidents are happening. So question is, as per your understanding, what do you think? Why? What is the root cause actually?
I just joined though, but my point of view is maybe still missing more awareness, or people should
Uh-huh.
be taking the consequences.
Okay.
I have nothing on mind, so to be honest,
Okay.
just joined. Sorry.
So we discussed, Mr. Said, that a lot of, and one of the important word we got from Mr. Muhammad, that is the shortcut is the number one. People love to take shortcuts because of company pressures, client pressures, and, or it's a human nature as well. And a lot of other reasons, like Mr. Muzammil mentioned, no implementation of safety rules and regulations, and plenty of other reasons we discussed. And thank you very much and welcome again for this important session. Now we are going to discuss about hazards which we all face sometimes. So now we are going to discuss the categories of hazards. So let me just show, as per Saudi Aramco especially, I like their 10 words categorical explanation about hazards. So they divided hazards in two different types, like safety hazards and health hazards, and also they created subcategories. Like under safety hazards, 5 subcategories, and under health hazards also 5 subcategories. And they also gave the definition of a safety hazard. So a safety hazard is anything that can have adverse impact on your safety. So on your safety, which we really need to remember. And what can happen to our safety because of electrical hazards, gravitational or mechanical or motion or pressure. Because of these things, if something happens, we can say it's a safety hazard: electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure. And there are certain examples also, like we have power lines, transformers, static charges, lighting, energized equipment, wiring, and batteries. Anything happens because of these things, we can say, oh, this accident happened because of electrical hazard. Then we have gravitational, like crane lifting operations are going on, excavation, and also falling object, collapsing roof, and even a body tripping or falling. That comes under gravitational or gravity hazard. That means something is falling. Now the third subcategory is the mechanical, like rotating shafts, belts, pulleys, saw blades. We also have motion, like vehicle, vessel or equipment movement, flowing water, wind and body positioning while lifting, straining, or bending even. And we also have pressure. Pressure means the pressure piping, compressed cylinders, control lines, vessels, tanks, hoses, pneumatic and hydraulic equipment. So, but these all 5 subcategories belong to safety hazards. And there can be other examples as well. But any example in any category, we need to learn how to link them. So we just need to learn 10 important words for 5 important words for safety hazards and 5 important words for health hazards. Like, let's talk about health hazards. So what is the meaning or the definition of health hazards? Is anything that can have an adverse impact on your health. Like biological, subcategory is biological hazard. This coronavirus is a biological hazard, right? But there are certain other examples like animals, bacteria, viruses, insects, even the blood-borne pathogens, improperly handled food, and contaminated water. All are the examples of biological hazards. That means these hazards directly impact on our health. So you need to understand the difference between health and safety. Now, there is another hazard subcategory like chemical. The examples are dust, fumes, gases, even mist, vapors, liquid, hydrocarbons, solvents, and lead. There's another example of subcategory like radiations, lightning issues, welding arcs, solar rays, microwaves, lasers, X-rays, and even NORM, like naturally occurring radioactive materials. So what we truly need to understand, the subcategory of hazards, 2 types of hazards, and of course, there can be plenty of other examples. So we need to learn how to take an example and link with the subcategory. Like a virus, any biological any sort of like coronavirus, we can link, oh, it's a biological hazard. If we see any H2S, we need to learn how to link, oh, it's a chemical hazard. The mobile radiations, the the solar rays and all comes under radiation hazard. And if it is like noise and vibration, equipment noises there, impact noise, vibration, high pressure release, and the impact of noise to communication, that's all comes under noise and vibration. So they also noise and vibration, it can also affect our health in different directions. So the last subcategory of health hazards is temperature. Temperature means the open flame, sparks, hot or cold surfaces, liquids or gases, stream, friction, general environmental and weather conditions. So two types like safety hazards and health hazards, and 5 subcategories. Like under safety, we have electrical, gravity, mechanical, motion, and pressure. Certain examples are there. Under health hazards, we have biological, chemical, radiation, noise and vibration, and temperature. And no safety officer is a better safety officer if he is not capable how to identify the hazard section. If that competence is not there, trust me, it's a big gap. Even if he is certified like OSHA certified or NIBOSH IGC certified, but he is missing that important skill, like how to identify all types of different hazards in the workplace. It's a big gap. It's a huge skill gap. That's why I would appreciate if you guys can participate in the next. Some examples are there through pictures. I will share a picture and the question would be, please spot the hazards. Find out the category, the subcategory of the hazard. So let's start this practical group exercise. Let's see who will be giving the right answers. Look at the picture. Take your time and let me know what hazards you believe are there.
This one's
Okay. So the type you mentioned, safety hazards are there. So can you mention some
it's mechanical.
Mechanical. And where that hazard is there in the picture? Any example?
The cutting of this pipe.
Excellent. Okay.
And also this fire sparks.
So you mean temperature hazard is also
temperature. Yeah, temperature and health and safety, both hazards are there.
Okay. But name the categories. That is the challenge,
Okay.
In health, there is temperature.
Noise.
And in
So there is noise. There is a one guy grinding in the backside.
Okay.
And
But
we have
and also could be vibration.
For noise, we need a noise meter, like if we don't know either the noise level is below 85 decibel or above than 85 decibel. Do you agree, Mr. Muhammad? Because still it's a
Yes.
picture only. If I want to see what is the noise level, of course, I need a noise meter to check. Like we can't assume. We can't assume. That's what I'm talking.
Yes, if we continue, as Mr. Muzammil said, in the health category, there is also chemical hazard in there, and the fumes.
Yeah, fumes. Okay. What else? Do you think electrical hazard is there? Electrical hazard?
It's not clear what's this, the suspended part.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is
what is this?
Electrical hazard.
Electrical, yes.
Yeah, you think there is gravitational or gravity hazard?
Sure.
So if it is getting, so something can fall down, right? Do you
That's
think the
Polaris
pressure hazard
information.
is also there?
Pressure inside a cylinder also.
Exactly. So we have
Pressure.
compressed gas cylinders, So it's a pressure hazard. And the area looks very overcrowded, misorganized, no certain order, no standardization, poor housekeeping. Fire hazard possibility is also there. But the problem is, if we will list up 100 different hazards, and then we start putting some controls, the project will be so much delayed, and company management will not like such kind of safety officer, right? Who will stop the job and delaying their project. So what is the right solution? We need to train each individual. Please, wherever you are working, be a safety manager of your own area, manage them properly, ensure the housekeeping, ensure your safety, wear the PPs, and don't bother us anymore, But it's not easy, of course. Convincing different brains, working as a mind changer, of course, it's not easy, but not impossible as well. That is why I always encourage to the safety professionals, please attend some trainings like emotional intelligence, effective safety leadership, convincing how to improve convincing powers, have some trainings about stress management, attend some emotional intelligence training. So you'll be emotionally more intelligent and you can have a better understanding about your colleagues and employees within your company to deal them and sell your safety in a better way. Instead of using push policy, you can try pull policy as well. Take another example. What hazards are there?
This one, electrical.
Okay.
Power lines are there.
Overhead power lines are there. So electrical hazard. Any other, please?
There is motion hazard in there.
Okay, so something because of wind speed,
Also gravity.
gravity. Okay.
Gravity, yeah, motion and gravity together.
And also mechanical, if there is any mechanical
failure.
problem in this lifting.
And pressure in the boom truck.
Yeah, because definitely the pneumatic or hydraulic pressures are always belong to such kind of equipment. See another picture.
Too much.
So
all of above, huh?
So never work for such kind of companies. Otherwise, be a challenging guy and accept the opportunity to improve, even though it's not easy, because overall culture of the company is unsafe, right?
Yeah. There are electrical, all these cables are there on the ground.
Exactly. Even look
All
at the
hazards
ladder,
working at
working at height.
Yeah.
The shortcuts.
Also chemicals are there, chemicals or water, whatever.
Yeah.
It's near to the electrical cable.
And look
Pressure,
at the first data.
gravity, motion.
Also the tools, it's
Yeah.
scattered.
Absolutely right.
And
No
first aid
second.
box is not there in the proper position, not maintained.
And look, this gentleman, the manual lifting. And even see the combination. Both scientists, they don't know what is going to happen.
And also this guy under the load, the spikes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, working under suspended load.
Avoid superheroes in your company. Watch them clearly, and encourage them. Don't be the superhero. Don't be the hero even. Just be a humbled person and follow the safety rules and regulations. But it's hard to convince them, of course. If it's a culture, it takes sometimes 3 years to change the culture of the company. Sometimes it takes 5 years, So changing culture.
Also this lady, she should not be there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look at, nobody have PPs. Like No helmet, nothing.
Yeah.
Take another example. Okay. So as a safety professionals, wherever you are moving within your company, immediately your mind should click. Oh, we have electrical hazard, we have falling hazard, we have some kind of motion hazard or gravitational hazard is there, or we have shortcut, or we have fire hazard, or exit routes are blocked. Immediately your mind should click, or the chemicals are there with poor labeling, or manual handling activities are not safe. Whatever you observe, immediately interact with the concerned person and stop this kind of unsafe acts, or improve the unsafe conditions. But remember, uh, don't try to change everything overnight. I repeat again, don't try to change everything overnight. Sometime it will fire back. Let me give you an example. Consider you have 20 chain smokers within your company, and tomorrow to onward you created a policy, no smoking policy, and you immediately implemented. From today to onward, nobody is allowed to smoke even a single cigarette within your company, even in smoking area. So what do you think? What would be the reaction of these 20 chain smokers? Will they quit this smoking, or they'll quit their job actually? What do you think? Because their brain is addicted with the nicotine.
I think they will quit their job.
Mostly they'll love to quit their job, but they are not. It's not easy for them to quit smoking because their mind is addicted with the nicotine. Let me give you one more example. I was doing risk assessment of a printing section, for a kind of a department. And the moment I went there, that was part of risk assessment, what kind of PPs they are using, and the overall behavior of the employees of that area. And I noted 3 guys. One was Filipino and 2 other nationalities. I don't want to quote the nationalities, but I truly appreciate this Filipino guy. He was using NIOSH approved air purification mask, which is kind of a respirator, having 3 layers of air cleaning methods. So you will get maximum cleaned oxygen or air within your lungs. And the other 2 guys, one was not using mask at all, and one was using the medical mask, this disposable mask. And I asked the guy, this Filipino guy, I asked him, do you have friendship with safety department or with safety manager? So he mentioned, no, I don't have any friendship. Then how come you got this expensive respirator here? So I still remember the golden words. He mentioned, sir, look, if company doesn't care about my life, does not mean I should start killing myself. So I purchased this respirator from my own pocket because company is not providing me appropriate mask or a kind of respirator which can help me to avoid any kind of toxic fumes or even smoke, coming from printing machine operation. And also mixing was there, like thinner, retarder, and this ink was there. And I noted this ventilation system was also not very much effective. So it was a huge slap on the top management of that company. Even though they took immediate action, they terminated the safety manager because they thought why the safety manager didn't implement all these things. Anyhow, the second guy asked, why you are not using mask at all? And the terrible reply was, I'm addicted. Where were you before 10 years or 12 years? Now I'm addicted. Without this thinner smell, I can't, I can't breathe properly. So even for Friday is a terrible day. So I take, he was above 50 years old, you know. So I take this thinner just to deal my Friday, and I drink thinner, and nobody can catch me because in the water bottle, thinner is a transparent or clear color. So nobody can catch either it's water or it's thinner. So that is why this addiction, you know, addiction of bad habits, addiction of such kind of toxic chemicals, addiction of smoking, even screen addiction, I'm telling you. Like in my training sessions, if somebody is using mobile, trust me, I don't genuinely mind it because I understand his mind is addicted. I will humbly request him, please, if you have something urgent, go out and use your mobile. I have no problem. So just avoid disturbing others, but you are allowed to use because I know his mind is addicted. I can only try to convince him rather than to enforce everything immediately. And this is how, you know, because this screen addiction is another new addiction in 2021, you know, year, and even after that, it started already for last 10 years. People are using more mobile, laptops, everywhere we have screens, right? So I hope you got the point. If your company culture is addicted with unsafe acts or with bad unsafe habits, don't try to change that culture overnight. Go area wise, department wise, benchmark and try to convince them and try to change culture, you know, gradually but continuously in steps. There must be a proper plan, you know, behind that, rather than just jump into and, you know, create more messed up situation. And that is why people hate safety department, because we try to change them immediately. We behave like a police, you know, sometimes. That is why they don't like safety officers, or while we are a service department, right? We are not a policing department. We are a supportive department. But because of this misconception in the market, we always think whenever the employee see, oh, safety officer is coming, they'll start acting using PPs. Once the safety officer is out of the work site, automatically, you know, they have the same behavior. And safety officer, can he visit 12 hours, all the places? No way, right? So I hope you got the point. The culture, whenever you observe or the overall culture of our company is in a danger zone, then take a better plan and go step by step and benchmark the areas. Oh, this is the role model. Announce the best employee of the month, best employee even of the week, or the safest employee of the week, safest employee of the month. Create some rewarding environment and encourage people to follow safety rules and regulations, you know. But you can't do it without top management commitment, you know. I hope you got the point. Do you have any feedback about these cultural issues? Unsafe culture or safe culture of your company? If you are a safety
So,
officer, how you will change it actually?
Yeah, first we need to highlight, then there should be some meetings, management review meetings,
Okay.
and then we should implement.
rewards.
I like this word, management review meeting. And the top leadership or the top management should not miss this meeting actually. Somebody must be there from the top management as well. Yes, Mr. Muhammad.
Yeah, I agree, my friend.
Okay.
Meetings, rewards, policies. Consequences.
So daily gradual improvements, area-wise, department-wise, person-wise, even process-wise, even activity-wise, you can improve. And but this momentum shouldn't go down. The momentum should be sustainable and maintainability must be there. This is it must be like a daily habit to improve. Improvement must be our daily habit, that every day we have to improve. And remember, the biggest room in the world is the room for further improvement. No one is perfect 100%. No one except Allah. Now see in this picture, anything unsafe? Look at the floor. Look at the unnecessary item, the
Yes.
poor waste.
Oh, the holes on the floor and
Yeah,
the
exactly.
boxes.
Yeah. No labeling on the chemicals.
No PPE.
No PPs. Look another picture. We have always some heroes at our sites. Take another example. Sometime no focus, no attentiveness.
No barricade.
Okay, brothers, take 10 minutes break and we'll start at 12:10 or 12:15 maximum. Okay, sorry, 10:15.
So what about Salah break?
Yeah,
Juma.
Salah break will be later on.
Yeah.
Okay, so please, after 10 minutes, let's rejoin again.
Okay.
So we have another example in front of us, how things can go wrong because of poor focus, because of poor management from different sides. And look at another picture. Sometimes you'll see such issues in one company, sometime in different companies at different sites. It's just like a combination, because like see the scaffolding, the waste management, the excavation, the use of this drilling or vibrating tools, using heavy equipments. Look at the forklift operation, the use of grinder, manual handling. See the chemicals. See this gentleman. Look at the shortcuts. Take another example. This is a health and safety poster, but she likes bike. We have hard hat area, but he doesn't like to wear. We have fire exit, but they love to keep it blocked. No smoking, but allow him to smoke. Look at the grinder. The guarding is there, but she's not using the guard. Even the spillage. So basically, this OSHA is Occupational Health and Safety Administration of USA, is a legal labor department of USA. So basically, OSHA standards and regulations are made specially for USA, all 50 states. But because these standards are excellent, so Saudi Arabia also have strong alliance with USA. So of course, mostly standards you will see of Saudi Arabia is derived from OSHA regulations. And on the other side, wherever we have American brands working or operating in any country, they will also enforce to their vendor suppliers to follow American standards. Like in oil and gas, you have API, American Petroleum Institute standards. You have OSHA regulations. There are some others even, ASTM and some others, process-wise, product-wise. So as per our country-to-country trade alliances, we also enforce our standards. But what is the key challenge? First of all, within your own country, you need to follow local standards as well as globally respected standards as well. So for OSHA, we are going to discuss 29 CFR part, like Code of Federal Regulations. 1910 subparts, there are different subparts: general adoption and extension of standards, general safety and health provisions, but we'll start from D, like walking and working surfaces, routes of exit, powered platform, man lift and vehicle lifts, and occupational health and environmental control, hazardous material, PPs, general environmental controls, medical first aid, fire protection. So we'll choose some of the sections out of it and we'll cover inshallah. We'll take some electrical, welding, cutting, or even driving, as well as toxic and hazardous substances. So let's start with subpart C, like general safety is all about, remember, domino theory, like a lack of management control, underlying causes, and unsafe facts or condition, accident and injury. So this ABCD, you can remember the domino theory, which always help us to understand how we're gonna manage safety issues. Remember, one technician and one engineer were affected so bad, but why he was affected? We truly need to understand, either because of electrical hazard or chemical penetration or some others, or it was a fire incident. So remember, there are some safety documentation which are mandatory, like if I'm coming to your company and you are telling me that there is no safety policy, and still you are saying you have a safety system, trust me, hard to accept. Because safety policy is the first framework or a kind of a commitment from top management that yes, you'll be following safety regulations, local and global. You'll ensure zero accident club for your employees, even for other stakeholders. You'll make sure, no damage to the environment. You'll ensure that even the neighbor community or the your surrounding areas would also be safe. So it's a kind of commitment. Actually, you are putting the words into the safety, and your top management signed it already. And if it is not signed or not displayed and not understood even by your employees, it's a huge gap, because it's a first foundational document where you need to show, yes, you are committed, you are responsible for safety. Then based on your safety policy, there must be some safety objectives or kind of KPIs, like key performance indicators, achieving these objectives. And to achieve your objectives, of course, area-wise, process-wise, department-wise, you can generate some safety procedures, even activity-wise. And these procedures, of course, you need teamwork, especially a safety team, to implement all these procedures, audit them frequently, have some inspection on a daily basis, and see either the safety system which is already implemented is working well, being followed, yes or no. Every day there must be some feedback. No doubt, it's much better to have a safety committee which can discuss weekly or monthly or quarterly some of the data analysis based, some issues related to your company to resolve them more effectively. Yes, the safety teams must have a clear dedicated responsibilities. There must be some safety formats like risk assessment, work permits, a lot of others. Safety records like safety inspections, work permit record, first aid, accident record, and near miss. And also you need some data analysis. That's why the companies now they are looking for data scientists. It's not like data only to the safety, data for overall company perspective, even for the market tries to understand. Now the data scientists are becoming more and more important. And once you have data analysis, you will definitely understand some of the gray areas or red zone areas or the gaps of your company safety system. So accordingly, you need to prepare some action plans or corrective preventive action plans to improve gradually all the situations. But remember, for all such kind of management systems, this PDCA will help you more better, like plan, do, check it. Don't do anything without a plan. And once you plan properly, then try to implement, do it. And if you are doing something, of course, you need to check either you are doing right, wrong, any errors, any gaps, any chances of improvement or opportunities for further improvement. And based on that, you will definitely go for some actions and preparing some action plans. And again, plan, do, check it. So this cycle will ensure your continuous improvement if it is being followed with better intention. So subpart T is all about walking and working surfaces. The OSHA says there must be like general requirements which need to be followed, especially the housekeeping. Like all places of employment, passageways, storerooms, and service rooms shall be kept clean and orderly. So look at the picture below. Look at the set and order, the housekeeping, the overall cleanness of the machine, the standardization, and of course the shine is also there. So whoever is working in such an environment will be more comfortable. Because if everything is beautiful around us, we will also start feeling good and we would love to perform our job. And quality and productivity graph should go up. If it is not going up, that means your health and safety environmental management system or your quality assurance system even is not well implemented. So there are plenty of benefits if we truly implement all these international systems actually. It's not like only for the bidding, every time to get the project, fulfill all the documents, tell some lies to the customer. Look, we have safety manual, we have safety policies, our engineers are well trained. Look at this CV. Even they are not your engineer, you are getting from outside just to get this project. But once you have this project and now your client is visiting, like Saudi Aramco supposes your client, and if he is now visiting and see you showed a lot of things in documentation, but in reality nothing is implemented on ground, so what would happen? The trust will be broken, right? And we all need to remember the problem with the trust is once broken is broken forever. It's really hard to rebuild your trust with the same client. So the best strategy for a continual successful business is be straightforward, be honest to your customer. Don't tell lies, don't play with fake documentation. I mean, don't be over smart in front of your salary payer like your customer. And don't underestimate, oh, your customer is sleeping, He doesn't know anything. Trust me, he knows everything because he's paying you and he has plenty of eyes here and there. Like might be Saudi Aramco have some of the employees directly within your company and they are reporting and you don't know and you can never find them. Who is reporting and representing Saudi Aramco within your company? Or maybe from Saudi government even. Because these are security intelligence systems. So it's all a way. Never think, oh, nobody is watching me. Nobody can catch me. If you as a supplier are so smart, imagine how much your customer would be smart. Smarter than you even. So what is the best strategy? Keep everything neat and clean, orderly, have some improvement continuously. It's not like, oh, Saudi Aramco is visiting, make housekeeping everywhere. I don't want to see even a single waste anywhere within the company. No dust penetration. And once your customer visit is done, the same terrible condition everywhere. So imagine if you keep continue such improvement, so your tension is over. Let the customer visit any day, anytime, and let him feel like home. So there is another general requirement like the aisles and the passageways must be clear actually. And there must be sufficient safe clearance shall be allowed. Look at the pictures because one picture is more louder than even 1,000 words. Even you can put some caution like maximum floor loading in pounds or even in kg or per square feet. All your walking and working surfaces, especially the stair, even the any place where fall hazard would be there. So make sure you have proper fencing. Make sure you understand the standards as well, like guarding floor and wall openings and whole stairway, railings and guards. Like every flight of stairs having 4 feet or more risers shall be equipped with standard stair railings or standard handrails. And look at the width, look at the height, like minimum 7 feet. So head should not hit. Look at the angle, like 30 to 50. I hope it will make you very clear how you need to design your stairs. So basically safety should be incorporated from the design phase. Like once you constructed your stairs and you constructed your building, and now you are evaluating, oh, how many OSHA requirements you have missed. And now you need to fulfill. And you start renovating and demolishing and reconstructing. So if you want to avoid all these tensions, make sure while you are preparing your drawings or designing your building or your site even, start understanding and incorporating OSHA regulations or standards or Saudi Aramco standards or even Saudi Arabian safety standards actually. And if you want to benchmark global standards, of course, the choice is yours, but make sure you incorporate all these standards and consider them clearly during design phase. Like if a building is designed unsafely and even constructed, and now you are talking about a lot of safety requirements.
Hello.
Yes, please. Hello?
Is it everyone is hearing well, or connection is not that it's poor connection?
Poor
Is there
connection.
any problem? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
now it's good.
because there is some issue with your connection. I think so.
Okay. So I'm talking about
You were broken up.
during the design phase, incorporate all the safety standards, during the design phase. Like you are going to construct stairs or rooms or designing a site, incorporate all the safety requirements and consider them in advance, rather than once the building is fully constructed and now you are talking about, oh, this one is missing, this safety requirement, or the stair size is not okay, or the stair height is not okay. And you are creating a lot of mess up situation for the company, while it should be during the design phase. So if you have guarding floor and wall opening at holes, like, remember, rail consists of top rail, intermediate rail, and post. Top rail shall be smooth and vertically height should be 42 inches. And the mid rail should be in between, like 21 inch. 21 inch, 21 inch. So 42 divided by 2, the vertical height. Any guarding you require for floor or wall openings or even for holes. So these are OSHA requirements. And same you can follow for Saudi Aramco as well. Now, if we talk about portable wood ladders, proper precautions must be observed. Rungs shall be kept free of grease, oil, or any other issues. There shouldn't be any damage. The overall condition of the ladder must be good enough. The height of the ladder must be good enough. No step should be broken, no cracks, no sharp edges, no greasing. That means no spillage or any kind of slippery condition must not be there. And most importantly, the ladders must be inspected frequently. And if that inspection is being done, no harm to have an inspection checklist and create a record. Because this record will definitely help to prove that you are following the ladder safety system. So whatever you are performing or doing, if you keep the evidence, this is good idea, because you have an evidence. Who did it, when it was done, who inspected, who reviewed. Was there any issue with the ladder? So with the base of this document, of course, you can convince your management to get some budget. So now this is a group activity, but we can do it individually. Can you just prepare a ladder inspection checklist? You can take your time, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Please prepare a ladder inspection checklist and WhatsApp me here. Note down my WhatsApp number with your name and all. Okay, guys, you have 20 minutes. Please prepare that checklist and WhatsApp me. Then we'll start again. Thank you very much for completing this individual activity to prepare a ladder inspection checklist. So now we are going to discuss something about scaffolding, especially the hazards. Look at this picture and start thinking, evaluating, identifying if you believe some hazards are there. This type of activities will surely be helping you how to identify hazards, process-wise or activity-wise, even area-wise, I would say. Picture and see if you can identify some of the hazards associated with scaffolding.
This scaffolding is not properly installed. You can see from the
Okay.
picture. No proper designing.
No proper designing. That erection is not as per the standards.
Yeah,
Okay. And the way they are managing
that's
and
why it's not sport.
Yeah, I don't think they have permit also.
absolutely right.
Yeah, but if
Excellent.
they have a permit, one of the permit, it should be elevated workhead. They don't have permit for work elevated workhead.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. So please remember the word fuses to understand what kind of scaffold hazards can be there. First, let us spell fuses, mean falls, unsafe access, struck by falling objects, electrocution, and even scaffold collapse. So whenever you are going to identify scaffolding hazards, remember the word fuses. Now, I hope you have some idea about scaffolding tags. But the important point is if there is any damaged scaffold, it must be removed immediately. We can't allow to use it actually. So how many tags are there? What colors or any idea, please?
Yellow, green, red.
Okay, so
Yellow,
Yellow.
if there's any caution. Yeah.
okay, so in simple language, whenever we use yellow tag means full body harness is mandatory. And if there is a green tag, even though we can work with the full body harness, but if you use it, it's more better protection. And red tag means scaffolding is not completed or still under erection or maybe under inspection even, or they are going to dismantle it. So there are different types of scaffoldings, but mostly in Saudi Arabia, especially in Saudi Aramco, you will see tubes and coupler scaffolding, or underhung scaffold, or mobile scaffolding. Even fabricated frame scaffolding is also there, but mostly you will see tube and coupler scaffolds, underhung scaffolds, but they will use again tubes and coupler, and mobile scaffolding, but with tubes and coupler. But there are plenty of other scaffoldings as well, but remember the most important one. So I have a few questions here. What do you think the scaffolding inspector must sign the tag for all scaffold above 6 meters? Like, who is responsible to sign the scaffolding tag above 6 meters? Can scaffolding inspector sign it? Above 6 meters. If you just remember, below 6 meters, always scaffolding supervisor is responsible for inspection, and even he will be signing the tag. It can be yellow, it can be green, but above than 6 meters, always this scaffolding inspector, and he must be signing, as well as supervisor should also be reviewed and also sign it properly. So in this option, the answer is true, right? Because above 6 meters, scaffolding inspector. Now, scaffold should not be erected near the excavation. It should be at least dash times the depth of the trench. Like if you have excavated area nearby, or there is a trench, or a certain depth is there, maybe 10 feet, maybe 20 feet. So what should be the distance from the edge of this excavated area? Or how far we need to erect it? If an excavated area is there and deeper than 10 feet or maybe 20 feet, how far we can erect our scaffolding? So remember, it is 1.5 times. Like if that trench depth is 10 feet, so 15 feet away we can erect our scaffolding. If it is 20 feet, then we need to add 10 more. That means 30 feet away from the edge of the excavated area, or even the trench. So 1.5 times, not meter, not centimeter, not inches, times, 1.5 times. So let's talk about subpart E, exit routes. But this exit route, maybe I can, find out something different to show you. Even though already in some of the pictures we have seen, this fire exit shouldn't be blocked at well. So this exit doors must be open outward or inward? Inside or outside? They must be open.
Should be outside.
Outside. Now, if you have automatic doors, then should they be manually, possible to operate if the electricity is over or any sudden power shutdown is there? Because some of the doors are automatic. So they must be manually, easily possible to operate here. And yes, you are absolutely right. All fire exit doors must be open outside instead of inside. Because if you are, in case of emergency, if you are Going outside, so the door should be, but it shouldn't be locked from inside, even it shouldn't be locked from outside. But yes, it should be, it should not be openable from outside. Somebody want to come inside through this exit, it must not be possible. And yes, important part is it must be unobstructed as per OSHA. Look at the three parts of exit. Access is important, exit and exit discharge. On which side you need to go out. So these are the three parts of exit routes. Exit access, exit itself, and exit discharge. Now, exit route must be designed in construction requirement for exit routes. Number of exit routes must be adequate, minimum 2. So minimum requirement is 2. But now the rest of the things depends on number of employees, the size of the site, and of course, the way you want your building to be more safer in case of emergency. And it depends on the nature of your business scope or a kind of your processes here. How many exit routes you will decide as per the assembly point locations here. This is an example like emergency evacuation. There must be a employee emergency plan or kind of an emergency evacuation map. And it must be clearly mentioned where you have exits. If you are here, can be displayed in different locations. No harm to identify your first aid and fire extinguishers even. So from the evacuation map, people can immediately know where is the muster point or a kind of a marshal area or assembly area. How many exits are there? Where are the fire extinguishers and the first aid? Now, think tidy, good housekeeping is essential to safety. And if you're not managing your waste properly, it's dangerous. There must be employees emergency plan. That means the kind of procedures for accounting, how to account all employees. If all the employees are, available in the muster point, immediately you need to count up and see, like, we call it head count even, and put attendance and see if someone is missing. And whoever is missing need to see either he's absent or he's inside the building actually. So remember, fire is not our friend. Now we are going to discuss about subpart F. That means the heavy equipments like powered platforms, man lifts, and vehicle lifts. Before we go forward, can you just list up in the chat box list of heavy equipments? Can you list up in the chat box the list of heavy equipments, the names of heavy equipments, whatever you have in your mind? Okay, like Mr. Muzammil mentioned, boom truck, trains. What else? Man lift, forklift. Yes, Mr. Muhammad. Excellent, mashallah. What else? Because there are plenty of heavy equipments we are using at our site. So if we know them, so we can easily identify the hazards and put some controls accordingly. Yes, Mr. Said, crawler loaders are there. We have excavators, we have bulldozers, we have graders, loaders, even trucks are there. Sometimes we use them. Compactors we use, trenchers, even backhoe loaders, backhoe itself. And we already mentioned the forklift even. Sometimes we use dump truck. Yes, Mr. Oman, trains are there. Road roller also we use, especially in road construction, and power shovel. So it's all depends industry wise also. If we are in road constructions, we need more. If we are in building construction, so according to the industry type, of course, it can be less or more. Now, what type of hazards can be there related to heavy equipment? General hazards. In the chat box, can you just mention, please, general hazards of heavy equipments? What kind of hazards can be there? Okay. Yes, Mr. Muhammad, struck by, fall. Yes, Mr. Muzammil, movement, gravity and falling objects. Yes, Mr. Muhammad. Excellent, Marshall. What about electrocution? The overhead power lines, underground cables. So, what are the controls now? Because these two words are important: identification of hazards, and later on, as a safety profession, we need to suggest and put some controls. So, what can be the controls against above hazards? What you highlighted. What should we do to avoid? Because you identified these hazards are there or can be there. Now the point is, how are you gonna control them? What would be your first control? Because as a safety professional, it's not like always the theoretical part. We have to be practically sound to suggest, oh, against this hazard, this is the best control unit. As per OSHA's regulations or as per Saudi Aramco standards or procedures, or as per your experience even here. Yes, Mr. Muhammad, very much important point you highlighted. First of all, we need licensed authorized operator. We need proper inspection. We need proper rigor. Yes, Mr. Muzammil, we need exact calculation, exact error-free calculation of load. And of course, Mr. Muhammad, checklist would also be helping us. Excellent, Mashallah. And the area must be barricaded as well. Okay. And make sure you have permit. Make sure whoever is involved for this particular activity, the concerned persons are fully authorized and certified. Like if you are dealing or managing 40 tons load and you are using a crane, what should be your best control to avoid from any, God forbid, incident or accident? Do you need a rigor level 1 for 40 tons load or above? Do you need 360-degree proper barricading? Make sure proper housekeeping set and order is there. The permit is there. You have proper certified crane operator, well inspected crane with better quality. And the rigger is practically qualified. He knows how to achieve center of gravity, what slings, shackles, or kind of lifting equipment or tools he needs to use. So I hope you had an idea that how you are going to manage the heavy equipment. But now let's understand OSHA requirements, like powered platform for building maintenance. For general maintenance, OSHA says shall be maintained in safe operation for which intended at all times, all the powered platforms, and any sort of powered platform equipment shall be taken out of service when it is not in proper working order. And equipment installation shall be designed by a professional registered engineer. And training is an important, especially for operations, like shall be provided by competent person, recognition of and preventive measures for the safety hazard associated with their individual work task. Operation and inspection of equipment is mandatory. And make sure the certificate of training is well maintained by the employer. So shall be loaded in excess of the load limits. There must be a, everything have a loading capacity. And there is a load chart mostly provided with the crane, and also, the riggers, they all know how to use this load chart. But on the other side, just remember, as per OSHA requirements, that the use shall not be loaded in excess of load limits. Yes, Mr. Muzammil, I was exactly thinking about Salah break. Thank you very much for your reminder. So let me know what time we can go for break and can easily come back. Let's agree, we all five, inshallah. Please give your
I think 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock is okay?
Check with other. I think last time also we came 1 o'clock.
What you took 1 o'clock? The break, or you came back at 1 o'clock?
We came back 1 o'clock. We took 1.5 hours break.
Okay.
because the mask is far, so it takes time.
Yeah, of course, you're absolutely right. So, what time you are supposed to leave now?
Now we can leave 11:30. Because mostly
11:30
Salah will
to
start at
12.
in
Okay.
20 minutes maybe.
Okay. Okay. So, no problem. Please come back at 1 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
So nice. Take
Thank you,
care of
sir.
yourself. Welcome.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, guys, after a lunch and prayer break. So we have another topic to discuss in subpart F, that is PFAS, Personal Fall Arrest System. Look at the picture first. It's not like only the full body harness. It's a complete fall arrest system, like including, this. Sometime if you have seen some of the platforms, you don't have anything to hook back, and you put a certain lines, to create that 5,000 pound capacity to lift properly. So it's a combination actually. It's a combination of full body harness and along with what I would say, with attachment of certain equipment like if I remember exactly, the anchor point, where you're gonna hook that uh, full body harness, the capacity of that anchor point must be minimum 5,000 pounds. Because wherever you are hooking, I mean, especially you are using it as an anchor point, make sure there is a capacity of 5,000 pounds, because that strength is really important. On the other side, if you are going to use full body harness above 6 feet, which is the standard as well, but make sure that hook you are using as an anchor point, minimum height must be 18 feet. Because even though you are working at 6 feet, you are using this full body harness, but still that anchor point, you required that anchor point at a height of minimum 5.6 meter or 18 feet above surface. Why do we need this 18 feet? Because even though you have full body harness, even shock observing lanyard is there, and shock observing means this lanyard would also be pulled off, and then full body harness height you have maybe 6 feet or 7 feet. Then on the other side, you need some area from the ground to be lifted up rather than just directly hitting to the ground. So that is why we need minimum 18 feet above surface towards that anchor point for safe landing actually. I hope you got the point. Even if you see some Aramco standards, their Polaris system, you will see this 5.6 meter, how they divided between full body harness, shock observing lanyard, and even working surface. Okay, so anchor points are important, full body harness is important, shock observing lanyard must be there. And if you don't have anything to create an anchor point, just make sure you have a lifeline, or we use sometimes this rope grabs. And if we are using them, of course, we need connectors as well. So it's a combination of different elements and for easy remembrance, we can remember ABC even, that means the anchorage connector must be there, the body wear, like the full body harness, and connecting device, how we are going to connect that one. So this is how, but the point is, OSHA says there must be a complete personal fall arrest system. It's not like only the full body harness. I mean, you have full body harness, but this shock observing lanyard is not there, not acceptable. Or you have both, but anchor point is not there, or you are anchoring in a weak area where the strength, the capacity is not 5,000 pounds is not acceptable. Now we have vehicle mounted platforms like specific requirements, extensible and articulating boom platforms tested each day prior to use. This is an, so that means any heavy equipment before we use must be inspected. I repeat again, any heavy equipment we are going to use, or even any tools or equipment which we are going to use, before using, make sure you have inspected properly. And especially for heavy equipments, authorization is critical. Whoever is going to operate, make sure is fully certified, not only certified, even fully authorized, from the internal company management, or even sometimes we need to get approval from the client also for this gentleman. So we have vehicle mounted platforms like boom and basket load limit shall not be exceeded. There is a limit, and whenever we buy something, we always get some kind of instruction book or safety manual of that equipment. So make sure accordingly we are using that one. Periodically we use man lifts also. So there must be periodic inspections, but make sure the person is fully competent who is doing this inspection. And as per OSHA, it shouldn't be less than 30 days actually. So limited switches shall be checked weekly, and certificate record of the inspections shall be maintained. Date of inspection, inspector, serial number of man lift must be mentioned. These are OSHA requirements for powered platforms, especially the man lift. So the next subpart G is all about health and environment. Sometimes we say HSE, health, safety and environment, but now as per OSHA, the subpart G is all about health and environment. So let's discuss what exactly they're talking about. Health means, even though if you remember the 10 hazards, two types over there, like safety hazards and health hazards. And under health hazards, we also discuss noise and vibration. So now as per OSHA, what they're talking about, there must be certain occupational noise exposure which need to be followed, like hearing conservation program, like shall be administered if employee noise exposure equal or exceed 8 hours TW time weight average 85 decibel. So above than 85 decibel, we can't allow anyone to work. If we are allowing them, there must be certain earplugs or ear muffs as per the decibel exceeding from 85, or otherwise the best option is below 85 to let them work. And of course there must be a proper monitoring. In one of the project, I noted one guy came from UK for Saudi Aramco only for noise analysis or noise testing at the rig sites, only for the noise testing. And what exactly he did is he just like took the site layout of the rig site, and he took all the readings on the map. He mentioned where you have 106 decibel, like in generator area or near to BOP or drilling area, how much noise is there, and all other areas, including the residential, areas of nearby this rig site even. So based on this analysis, he'll be reporting back to Saudi Aramco, okay, look, this is the noise level of your rig site, which can be harmful, or we just need to make sure it's well maintained, according to the standards. What I mean is, a person came from UK only for one job, that is noise testing, or at some level some analysis, and I'm sure later on he will prepare a report, and or rig number one, this is what you observed, and maybe some recommendations also. and they'll be charging a lot of money to Saudi Aramco, right? So this monitoring program must be implemented because that must be, especially if any area is exceeding 85 decibel. Occupational noise exposure employee notification must be there. All affected employees shall be notified of noise monitoring result, like 8 hour, 85 decibel, more than 8 hours. We can't allow them without proper PPs or earplugs. Now, in one of the company, I noted, there was a noise. Because of this noise issue, they were unable to get PME license from Saudi government. And the critical issue was their noise level was too high, like it was 96 decibel or more than that even. So only the point the authorities noted, they found few of the employees with earplug, and that earplug can only reduce maybe 3 decibel or 5 decibel. So they took it very serious because the earplug was not appropriate. Like we need a ear muff or earplug which can reduce, like if 96 decibel was there, so the earplug or ear muff must be capable to reduce, like 11 decibel impact. But unfortunately, the company thought it's just a formality, so they provided only the cheapest earplugs, and they thought the authorities would be happy that we provided earplugs, in the highly noisy area where we have noise above than 85 decibel. Anyhow, later on, the company, they took a lot of actions as per the government recommendations just to fulfill this requirement. So sometimes things are not easy. In one of the case, the person went to the court and mentioned because of this highly noisy area, he became deaf, and he just simply blamed to the company. And unfortunately, the company was providing some earplug and some other, but no record was there. So the person, who filed the case, he won the case, and in compensation, a lot of dollars paid by the company to that gentleman. So it's, as a businessman, yes, we can make money, but not by killing people, not by creating occupational damages or kind of injuries to the employees. So that's why, remember, there is a legal implications as well. Like if you're not keeping your employees safe, it's a legal issue as well. Even the insurance companies, imagine if you don't have proper fire safety system, even the insurance companies will not easily accept your insurance uh, policies and all that, or even the request, they're going to say, oh, please insure our warehouse, but the safety system or the fire safety system or sprinkler system or kind of fire hydrant system is not as per international standards, so they will definitely charge more money instead of accepting. Otherwise, firstly they will deny immediately. So that is why, we need proper hearing protectors, which must be provided to all affected employees. But employees should not be paying the cost. Like, I gave you an example of printing section, and the gentleman, he purchased the respirator from his own pocket, which is illegal actually. Even though it's a good gesture that he paid from his own pocket, but a very bad impact on the company's goodwill. Why they didn't provide the PPs appropriate, the right PPs. The legal requirement is the employer is responsible to provide the appropriate PPs. That means the suitable as per the job nature. So that was all about health and environment, and there can be plenty of other things to implement, but let's talk about subpart H, that is all about hazardous material. Now this hazardous material, most of our job sites have certain, gas cylinders. So the OSHA says, first of all, make sure you have proper inspection of these gas cylinders. And normally, if we talk about oil and gas, we don't trust uh, on internal inspections. That is why there are certain requirements that always the third party inspectors must be there. That is why we have third party inspection for cranes, for forklift, for certain kind of other, even full body harness. This Polaris system is also being checked, including this rigging and lifting equipment. And same way the gas cylinders must also be third party inspected, instead of relying on your internal inspections. Of course it's not bad, but the client have a right to deny, we don't accept your, it's not like really worthy. So better you hire a third party inspection company who's working globally or acceptable their reports globally. So that's why sometimes we go as per the client's requirements. Now, even though OSHA doesn't mention here the third party, what OSHA is saying, visual inspection of cylinders. Now look at how we handle, store, utilize, or even properly ensured, that the gas cylinders, the compressed gas cylinders, they are perfectly tied up and not hitting to each other, especially during transportation. And even while unloading, stacking, destacking, or using at the site, make sure the flashback arrestor is there, even though it's not mentioned by OSHA, but still much better while our guys are going to use these compressed gas cylinders, make sure there is a flashback arrestor, so no impact or any spark impact can go inside the cylinder. Otherwise, a huge disaster could be possible. Let me give an example. One of the company, they were manufacturer of this gas cylinders, empty, I would say empty gas cylinders. And one of the gentlemen from that company, the engineer, he just suggested that company, why can't we start the filling process? We can add filling process and we can sell to the market the filled gas cylinders or compressed gas cylinders, and we can make a lot of money. We will just manufacture, fill, and sell to the concerned customers. And that suggestion was accepted. But unfortunately, they also thought no need to prepare a, this covered area. We can store the cylinders in open air, because the covered area was not sufficient. It was already having a lot of empty cylinders, and like 10,000, I believe, if I still remember with this case study, 10,000 cylinders per day they were manufacturing. So they thought, why not we just simply fill and sell. And one day, because every day you can't be lucky. If you are violating safety rules, every day can never be your day. So what happened? Just one cylinder fell down, and it was a terrible, blast. First of all, an impact. It caught up all the filled cylinders, and the cylinders were shooting up even up to 3 kilometers of that area and nearby community. Like a bomb, actually, like a bullet. Even the cylinders were moving around here and there, and the whole company shredded up just because of this terrible incident. And immediately government took a lot of actions. So sometime we try to make money, but we just simply ignore what can happen if we will not incorporate or not consider the safety requirements. Same way, consider if you are buying compressed gas cylinders, the filled one, from Riyadh to Dammam or from Dammam to Riyadh. So imagine this 450 or 500 kilometers while traveling on the road. If these cylinders are not properly secured and they are wobbling or hitting to each other, and now immediately you are going to offload at your site, and some guys, they just came and start using it. Imagine what would be happening inside the cylinder, because they were hitting to each other, and a lot of pressure, can be boom up. That is why it is, truly important to make sure while we are transporting these cylinders externally or internally, even internal transportation should be taken very seriously, and make sure we don't store them, horizontally, the field one. We always store them in upright position, anybody asks how do we store upright this compressed gas cylinders? Of course, upright position. And to avoid from any spark to go inside the cylinder, what do we use? Flashback arrestor. So some of the questions technically might be, in the exam they can ask you. Now, this hazardous material is a part of process safety management of hazardous, highly hazardous chemical. So employees' participation is critical. So there must be a written plan. You truly need to consult with employees on conduct and development of process hazards analysis, provide access to the process hazard analysis, and to all other information required to develop under this standard. So any chemical, any hazardous material you are using at your site, there must be a proper, that's why we discuss about HAZCOM, hazard communication, and also in Saudi Aramco, that is the reason they develop CHB, like chemical hazard bulletin. How are we going to tackle this chemical? How are we going to store them? If it is touched to our skin, what we have to do, like first aid measures, what kind of PPs we need to use to. So instead of MSDS, like MSDS having 16 different sections, and sometimes we believe we don't have time to study all these 16 sections. That is the reason Saudi Aramco created another sub-document, which is very helpful. We call it CHB, Chemical Hazard Bulletin. And normally we can display also this hazard bulletin, this at the notice boards, and we can, display on certain other locations even. That is why, this process safety information must be there, like safety data sheet, TDS, like technical data sheet, and in Saudi Aramco, like I mentioned, CHB, Chemical Hazard Bulletin, and there must be a label. Any chemical at your site, even with less quantity, if it is not labeled, it's dangerous. Like in the printing section, I gave you an example. The person was taking thinner inside the drinking water bottle.
So
Yes, please.
yeah, sorry, but can you check please your connection, because I'm not sure if it's my side or yours, because
Yeah, is it from my side? Is there any issue with others? Please, no, my voice is clear.
Same issue. Same issue. No clear. Sometime some break from that.
Oh, okay. So sometime it's happening. Okay, so this screen is visible to all of you? Hello? My
Yes.
laptop screen is visible to all of you?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, yes, it is. My only concern is the connection. Your voice.
Okay.
is not-
Let me because I didn't disconnect, so it was continuously in connection. So maybe, but right now, what I'm noticing out, the connection is quite okay actually.
Yeah,
Now
now
it's
it's okay. It's clear.
Now it's okay. So what I'm talking about, this hazardous materials, some of the important informations must be available with us, like safety data sheets, TDS, technical data sheet, and CHB means chemical hazard bulletin, especially in Saudi Aramco. And no chemical shall be there without proper label. Even if you are buying chemicals and there are certain chemicals and you believe the label is faded or the ink is faded, it's not readable, we have full right to deny to accept these chemicals, because we need proper labeling of these certain chemicals, and the same way If you purchase 1 drum of chemical and you distribute it to other departments for some use in the process, make sure there are labels on every sort of can or kind of bucket you provided or issued through, you know, this chemical. Make sure there is a proper label. So this labeling is critical. You know, I gave you an example of this printing section, the guy, you know, who was taking thinner inside the drinking water bottle, because nobody can catch him, nobody can imagine that inside there is water or thinner, you know. So that's why sometimes label is there, but unfortunately the item what you're looking for is not there. So make sure proper HASCOM system is well implemented. So how are we gonna do is, it's all about training. It's all about training. You need to give proper training, but as per OSHA, at least every 3 years. But to be very honest, what I believe, whenever you get a chance or you are going to use this chemical during your toolbox meeting, you must repeat, you know, what can go wrong if we will not use properly this chemical, or if we will not handle this chemical as per CHB or as per MSDS or as per TDS, you know. But anyhow, OSHA says there must be refreshing training at least after every 3 years. Now, hazardous material is all about to manage their waste operations, and emergency response must be there. Like if sudden spillage is there, how are you going to manage? That is why some companies, they have separate, you know, spill kit and spill management team, even that how they're going to manage if there is a sudden spill on the ground or even in the air, because chemical can be in form of solid, in form of liquid, even in form of gas, like H2S, carbon monoxide, and certain other gases, ammonia even. They are in terms of in form of gas, but there are some combustible dust or hazardous dust, you know, and they are in a solid form. And we also have chemical in liquid form like ink, thinner, retarder, you know, some others. So that is why make sure we have proper emergency response against any sort of hazardous waste operations, you know. And let me share one of the experience, you know, what the company was doing. They just washed out, the company decided why not to wash the whole floor. And unfortunately, the water they mixed up with this, you know, municipality from where they took, especially in modern area. Modern means where we have mostly like in Dammam Industrial 1 or Dammam Industrial 2, 3, same like Riyaz, you know, same like we have in Al Hassa even. So mostly they are under Madon. Now, Madon have a requirement. They will check your wasted water, you know, and frequently sometime, and just to verify you didn't mix any hazardous chemicals inside their routine pickups, you know, because in advance you need to inform them that today you have certain dangerous chemicals because you washed out your floor. So this chemical, you know, wasted water must be managed properly. Same like, you know, the general waste or the waste in the hospital can never be same. Like the hospital waste entirely they are managing in a different way, you know. And the same way, if we are washing our floor and there are certain chemicals spilled out, and you are simply washing and expecting that Madon or municipality will not catch you back, it's a big violation. Of course, they will catch you back, and there are certain fines and a lot of other penalties, you know. And now we have subpart I, that is all about personal protective equipment. So, but before we move on, can you just mention master list of PPs or the list of PPs? Can we list up here? List of PPs. List of PPs. Whatever is coming in your mind, please mention here. Then we will discuss further. Yes, Mr. Muzammil, hard hat, goggles, safety shoes, harness, gloves. Excellent. Now, what OSHA says, first of all, look at this picture. Your PPs are your best friends. So what is wrong? What is correct? Look at, first of all, in the picture. And if you have safety shoes, make sure there is a steel toe. Any shoes without a steel toe is not acceptable. And we can't call them as a safety shoes, right? So, the right foot of the warehouse helper was run over by forklift. Luckily, he was wearing what? Safety shoes. So what are the general requirements, OSHA says the protective equipment shall be provided, used, and maintained in a sanitary and reliable condition, wherever it is necessary by the reason of hazards of the processes and environment, or even some kind of chemical hazards or radiological hazards or mechanical irritants encountered in a manner capable of causing injury or impairment in the functions of any part of the body through absorption, inhalation, or physical contact. We need to provide personal protective equipment. It's all about training. Whatever PPs you are providing, make sure they know how to wear, they know how to use, how to maintain them. And you can create a kind of issuance checklist that, if a gentleman newly you hired, make sure you have a checklist right after induction program. If you are providing them PPs, just tick mark whatever you provided and make sure he signed. The employee must be signed that the induction training is given to him, as well as the PPs are well received by him. So he must be signing that document. And it is an important document, of course, and try to convince them why they need to use these PPs, why you are issuing these PPs to them, rather than they're going to think, oh, it's just a formality. Now, if we talk about eye and face protection, the side shields when there is a hazard from flying objects, it's not like always the simple goggles. Make sure the sides are also well protected, especially in Saudi Arabia. Normally we face sandstorms and, the high wind speeds are there. So we need goggles with side protection, So any flying objects or any kind of sand flying up is not coming into eyes, Not only this one, any crack lens is not acceptable, any damaged one. Even the misfit goggles are not accepted. If the goggles are not fitting at your face or they are not covering the whole area, they are not acceptable. Or if you are a welder and you are using a face shield, and that face shield have some scratches or, or the fit test has failed, and you must not accept actually such kind of any equipment or any personal protective equipment which is not fit to your use or not fit to your body. Of course you have authority to deny, because we need to get appropriate suitable PPs. Now for eye and face protection from injurious light radiation shall be by filtered lenses. That's also available in the market. Now if we are using or we are working in a toxic environment or where we have certain kind of toxic gases, of course we need to use well selected NIOSH approved or globally acceptable respirators. But these respirators must be provided by the employer, number one. And, make sure they are protecting the employee all the way around. Like we have SCABA, self-contained breathing apparatus. We have SABA, like supplied air breathing apparatus. And we have EBA, emergency escape breathing apparatus. So you need to know which one you are going to use.
مركب فوق ده مخترب عند النت هو. اي مخترب عنده.
مو من عندي صح؟ لان انا عندي الواي فاي كامل.
Okay, guys, and now is it okay?
رقد برا في الصالة بعد بس ما عليه، ما باقي شيء. ما يحتاج اي ما هو وش اتغدى بعد الحين. اي
Okay, now it's okay.